All right, when we're drawing faces, I'm gonna do a masculine face first. There are a few differences between male and female faces. And the first thing we always want to do is start with the outline of the face. There's lots of different face shapes. There's kind of heart shapes, ovals, circular, rectangular, triangular. There's lots of different face shapes, and you can find those, a lot of those online. All right, this is one of the images I have found online for different face shapes. And then on the back side, I have it printed for my students so you can see these, and I just found these online. I think this one came from a hair cutting website. All right, so you want to start with your face shape first. So I'm going to do a masculine face first. But you want to start almost like an upside down egg shape is what you want to think of. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line down the middle so I can keep it kind of symmetrical. So I want the upside down egg. I tell you to think of that because we want it to be wider up at the top, like where our brain is. And then we want it to get more narrow and sometimes more pointed at the chin. And of course, different people's heads do different things. Like my head comes in at the temples a little bit. And so everybody's head is just a little bit different. So the sides can be more straight, the sides can curve in. I'm going to bring this in slightly, then put a corner for the jaw, and then bring it to the chin. Okay, and then I want to try to make that match on the other side, and I can use my little measuring tool to do that. So that way All right, and then after we get our face shape, then we need to find the middle vertically. I mean horizontally. We need to find the middle. So what I do is I kind of look at it and I kind of guess where I think about the middle is, and then I measure and check it. So, yeah, right on halfway. So halfway. This is where, so this is half, and this is the eye line, the line that the eyes sit on. Now the eyes can either sit above this line or right on this line. Since everybody's face is just a little bit different, I usually, when I'm drawing eyes and teaching how to draw eyes, I always put the eyes on the line. I don't usually put them above, but there are a lot of instances in which people's eyes are slightly above. And I know a lot of students, they think that the eyes are way up here, but the eyes are in the middle of the face. If you were to shave off all your hair and look at your head from the top of your bald head to the bottom of your chin and put a dividing halfway line, your eyes would sit on this line. All right, so after we get our eye line in, we could divide it, go ahead and divide it and put out how many eyes are gonna be on here. So something that is a general rule is that 5 eyes will fit all the way across from the face, from side to side. That is not always the case. Sometimes it's more like 4, just because the sides of the head right here come in. Like on my face, the sides of my head come in right here. So 5 eyes can't fit all the way across. It's more like 4. But what you're gonna do, so on either side of the middle, just a little bit of waist from the middle, you're gonna you're gonna draw what would look like one whole eye, okay? The length of one eye. And then we're gonna take that length and we're gonna put it on the left and we're gonna put it on the right, okay? So we've got 3 eyes. If we took this space left over here and the space left over here, that would give us about 4 eyes, okay? Maybe a little bit, 4 and a little bit more. So I'm okay with that as long as they are mostly equal. And then, like I said, you can either draw those eyes above the line or you can draw them on the line. So I'm going to start with that tear duct. And we're going to draw our eye opening. What we don't want to do is we don't want to draw the eye opening huge, okay? It would end up looking very bad later. So we do want to make sure that we don't draw the eye opening too tall. And then we want to make those as symmetrical as we can. And then remember, we want to put in our tear duct. And then if we take the tear duct away, we can divide the eye opening into 4 equal parts. And then that iris is going to sit in those middle 2 sections. Alright, I know my eye shapes don't exactly look the same, but pretend they look the same. Alright, so eyes sit halfway. And of course there's way more details in the eyes, but we are just trying to put things where they need to go. So you can put your eye crease in. We're not going to put the eyebrow in yet. We have to find that based on some other indicators. Alright, but we can put in the eye crease. Next thing we need to do is put in the hairline. So the hairline is not very far away from the top of the head, and this is you imagining a head without any hair. The head is bald. How far down would that hairline go? And I usually tell students about let's see how many is still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. So right, this is 8.5 sections tall. So I could fit, if I took the measurement of where I think the hairline should go and stack them one on top of the other, I ended up with 8.5. So what you don't want to end up with is you don't want the hairline way down here. The hair is not as low as you think. Okay, so if that were it, 1, 2, 3, 4, close to 5. Yeah, you definitely want at least, I would say 7 or more. You need that, those, the length of that stacked on top of each other, you need at least, I would say at least 7. So mine was 8.5. I'm good with that. Okay. So like I said, if it was 4 or 5, even 6, you need to bring this line up a little bit. You should be able to stack at least 7 to 9 of these on top of each other to get that in the right place. So I'm going to put 1/8. Okay. That is the hairline. Okay, and then once we put in our hairline, we can take the remainder of the face and divide it into 3 equal parts. So first we're going to just put in where we think 1/3 of the face is gonna go. And then I will take that measurement and stack them one on top of each other. And that gets me pretty close to the chin. I would say within a reasonable distance. And I'm okay with that being placed there, or I could make it, I can move it down just slightly. To make it more exact. Okay, now it's exact. Okay, either way. Okay, because all of our faces are unique, so they're not all going to be an exact science, but they're going to be similar. Okay, so this line right here, so we've got 3 equal parts. This is our third part, so we've got 1, 2, 3 equal parts when we take away the hairline. All right, so this line up here, this is going to be our eyebrow line. This line here at the bottom of section 2, this is going to be our nose, sorry, let me put bottom of the nose. Bottom of nose. And then bottom of the chin. All right. From here, we would want to put in our nose next. We don't want to put on the shape of our eyebrows yet because we want to shade the skin first. Can't put down any hair. That's why we can't put down the eyelashes or eyebrows, because we have not shaded any of the skin until we've shaded the skin first. All right, so the next thing we can put in, the next thing that has lines that we could put in would be the nose. And what we can do is we can box in the area from the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose, and then divide that into 3 equal parts to place the ball of the nose and the wings of the nose. So on a male, or a masculine, this is male, on a male figure, you're going to draw a line, or a dotted line, from where the white of the eye meets the tear duct. And you're going to draw that straight down. So where the white of the eye meets the tear duct. And then we're going to take this rectangular space and divide it into 3 equal parts, which ends up being this, the eyebrows to the eye line usually ends up being 1/3, usually. All right, so we need about 3 equal parts. I'm going to take that one out. Okay, so about 3 equal parts. The ball of the nose and the nostrils and the wings are all going to fit in this bottom 1/3. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 1, 2, 3. And make sure you've got it lined up with where the white of the eye meets the tear duct skin. And then we can draw our septum. So this is where you can decide, does this person have a long nose? Does the nose turn up a little bit? And then we want the wings of the nose basically to reach out to the edges of the dotted line. Okay, and then all the rest of the nose would be shading. Last 1/3 to work on will be where the mouth sits. So we can take the entire 3rd section and divide it into 3 equal parts. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. This is the parting line. Parting line. That's the line created when the mouth is closed. On a male, the side of the iris down is where the corners of the mouth are going to go. My lines are looking a little diagonal. All right, so, oh, I did that in the wrong place. So, all right, the side of the pupil. Pupil straight down, side of the pupil, not the middle of the pupil. Okay, that's going to be the corners of the mouth when the mouth is closed. And then from here, we can draw our top lip shape, whatever that might be. Remember, we've got several to choose from our previous packet, so it's kind of like a mix and match. Okay, if we want our lip to have a little bit of shape, we can bring down that center part. And then we'll put in the bottom lip. Remember, just the outline of the bottom lip. And then this line becomes the chin shadow, and it turns down. So all this gets shaded in right here. So you can start to see our masculine face coming out. Once we get everything down, once we get everything in the right place, then we're ready to erase. Ready to erase all of our guidelines. And then once you get really good at this, you don't actually have to draw any of these guidelines anymore once you remember what all the proportions are and all the sections. All right, shading. So this is where, if you have an old shirt that you can cut up, I recommend taking an old t-shirt and cutting it, or cutting like a portion of the sleeve off, some little part you don't need. And we're gonna use this to wrap around our finger for our blending. So the face is too big to use a Q-tip. The Q-tip was for the little features, like the nose, like the lips, like the eyes. And we are gonna use the Q-tip for those small features. But when it comes to shading the skin and hair, we need something bigger, like the end of our finger. And so using a t-shirt piece, because there's no oil in it, that's why using Kleenex is difficult, because it can have the oils from the Kleenex can get into your drawing and you don't want that. So t-shirt, clean t-shirt, this is a brand new t-shirt, never been worn, that I'm gonna be using and that we will be using here in class. All right, so how to shade your face. So think about the parts of your face that stick out. So when you feel your forehead sticks out, right? But then the sides of your forehead wrap around. So think about everywhere that sinks in is gonna need a shadow. Okay. So the front of our forehead sticks out. The top of our hairline starts to go back. So there's gonna be some shadows up here. So this is like contouring. Those of you who wear makeup, the parts that stick out, we want to leave light, and then the parts that go away from us, we want to make in shadow. So like the ball of the nose is light, but then there's like a side of the ball of the nose. That's gonna create a shadow. There's another side of the ball of the nose over here. The tip of the nose starts to go down, so that's gonna get a shadow. Anything that curves away from us is gonna get a shadow. So the side of the nose. Okay, so on the eyes, anything that sinks down is gonna get a shadow. Any part that sticks out is going to be light. So if you've got deep eyes, you'll have a dark shadow there. So of course, this is when the light is straight onto you, if you had a light shining straight on your face. Okay, sometimes people have a little place that comes down right here between the eyes. There's like a little ridge right there. So the cheeks usually stick out. Right, that's shadow. Shadow. Underneath the cheeks, there'll be a shadow. So I'm just feeling my face and feeling for what sticks out and what curves in. So I've got a little curve in right here. All right, and then once I kind of have a little bit of shadow down, then I can use my t-shirt piece to smooth and blend. So whether you are shading the skin of a Caucasian person or African American, Hispanic, Indian, it doesn't really matter. Everybody's skin is gonna get shaded. Nobody's skin is the color of the paper. Even albino people still have coloring in their skin. And of course, this shading was based on my own face and what I was feeling. So you may get different results than me. All right. And then I would want to use my Q-tip on the nose. All right, if you put in too many eyebrows, if you take a triangular eraser, erase out some of those. All right, and then depending on what kind of hair we put on our figure, in the neck, whenever we go to put in the neck, we got to put some ears on here on our person too, on our man. So we want our neck on a man is going to line up with the jaws. Well, actually on any person. The neck thickness usually lines up with the width of the jaw, where the jaw takes a turn. We do need some ears. Ears sit in section 2. So whenever we took that hair hairline, put that hairline in and divided the face into 3 equal parts. Ears sit completely in section 2, anywhere from the top of the eyebrows to the bottom of the nose. All right, when we're ready for hair, sometimes we have to shade the scalp. So like if our man doesn't have very long hair, if he has really short hair, like super short and curly hair, we wanna, we don't actually want to draw in the hairline. I'm gonna lightly put in the hairline just so that I can remember where it is. So like right now my hands are getting really dirty. So to keep your hand from getting dirty, you can always put a clean piece of paper underneath it, and that'll protect your drawing as well as your skin. All right, and then I would do the same thing on the other side, and that would pretty much be my finished masculine face.